Hello, everyone. This is the second interview of the Normal Life Inspirational Women of Today. The purpose of this initiative is to provide a platform for women who have not yet had the opportunity to share their stories with a bigger audience. It is about showing the role of women in society, how lead a normal life but actually play a crucial role in their community or have experienced extraordinary life. This is a Juntos project. Juntos is the youth section of the Reach Right Consortium, which is an academic consortium whose intention is to create a community and a dialogue with people from all over the world.
I wanted to invite Elaine because she is someone that I admire very much and am very proud to call family. Growing up, Elaine has taught me what it means to be a strong and respected woman, and the life she has lived is an inspiration to us all. So, Elaine, thank you very much for joining us.
And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being with us. Okay, where are you from and where do you live now?
Well, I'm from New York City. I was born here. And my family moved out of New York when I was just a small child. I think it was about 7. And we went to live in small towns in Connecticut and New York State. And I also lived on a farm for a long time with my grandparents. And I went on, we even actually moved to Texas at one point. So we moved around a lot when I was a child, and I've lived in places. I lived in New York City, I lived in France for a long time, I lived in Algeria, and now I'm back in New York. And I've been living here since about 1994. That's 20-something years. And voila. I've traveled a lot. I've seen a lot of countries. I've been to Asia, I've been to Latin America. I've been to Mexico. And yes, it's a very, very varied landscape that I've seen. And one very enriching. Yes, to learn other languages, to live among people who have a very different background from your own, opens your mind by a lot. Okay.
Yes, you are so lucky to travel that much. How old are you?
Oh, well, I'm 92.
Okay.
I hope I'm going on to a century, but right now I'm 90.
Okay. We hope you go to the century.
How old are all of you?
I am 15. And
Zenny is 15, isn't she?
I'm 14, 15 in October.
I'm adding time on. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you've got a long way to go to catch up with me.
Okay, I want to continue. What is your job now?
Oh, my job. I don't work anymore. I don't have a day job and that I go to and work at, but I do continue to work. I continue to work at home and in a studio where I paint. I feel that it's very important to always have projects to keep your mind going, to keep your body going, and to keep you wide awake. And so I now spend my time writing short stories. I recently finished the translation of my husband's memoir on his life in Algeria and in the Algerian Liberation Army. And that book will be coming out in English in September. And I write my short stories and I go to my studio and I paint. I've always painted what I saw. painted portraits and landscapes and so on. And right now I'm trying to do some abstract painting.
Wow, it's so beautiful that you continue doing so much things. Tell us about your family. please.
Well, I don't have that much of a family anymore. My husband died in 2015. But I do have a family of which Zeddy is part of. It's the closest part of my family, the Koffs. And they're the Koff children, my cousins and little cousins, and I keep in touch with them, and they keep in touch with me, and we sort of boo each other up. They at least buoy me up. And I have some family in Algeria, but it's very far away, so I'm only in contact with them, and they're part of my husband's family. I'm only in contact with them through email. Perhaps when the epidemic is calmer, I'll be able to go back there and visit them again. I was there when the COVID broke out on a book tour. I was on a book tour for my own book at the time, but the COVID broke out and the Algerian authorities closed the airports, and I had to get out. And I would very much like to go back and finish that tour and see my relatives.
Well, Elaine, it's very nice that you have family all over the world.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's
Mhm.
wonderful. It's a very diverse family.
It must be very enjoyable to travel and see family. So, quickly, could you tell us about the Algerian National Liberation Front and what motivated you to join it?
Well, the Algerian Liberation Front, the National Liberation Front was created to fight for independence. Algeria was part of the colonial establishment of France, and France had maybe 20 to 25 countries under its belt and under its authority. And their colonialism is part of our history of the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. And after the Second World War, there was a definite movement to break up the colonial regimes throughout the world. The British had a very vast empire, the French had a vast empire, and the Dutch. And the Algerians just decided that they would liberate themselves. They were unable to do so through the mechanisms of negotiation. So they organized a clandestine army, which they started to train, and without real weapons, maybe rifles and Boy Scout knives, they undertook to liberate themselves from French control. 132 years of French colonialism. And they were a country of perhaps at the time 9 or 10 million Algerians, and they were held in place by about 1 million French European settlers, French army, French justice, French government. And they went to war, and no one gave them much of a chance of winning. But they did. But they held on, they held out, they multiplied the number of people involved. They taught themselves military procedure, and they fought the French. The French army at the time was the 4th military power in the world. And this impoverished country rose up and stood for their own independence. I was living in France at the time that this war broke out. And so I got very much the feel of it. Everyone at the time in the 1950s took a stand. You were either for or against Algerian independence, and you worked for it or you didn't work for it, or you worked against it. And I took a stand just as everyone else did. And when I was put into contact with some Algerian activists, including Frantz Fanon, I decided that that's where I wanted to give my energy and whatever knowledge I had and whatever competence I had. I wanted to help fight for Algerian independence. And so I was engaged to work in an office in New York, which was called the Algerian office. We were 4 people, and our task was to get the United Nations to pass a resolution in favor of Algerian independence. And this was a particularly difficult thing to do. The French mission to the United Nations at the time had about 100 people, plus a big embassy in Washington. And we were just 4 working at the Algerian office in an attempt to influence the delegates to the United Nations that they should favor Algerian independence. It was very difficult. But we hung in place. The United States at the time supported France, and with not only with their votes at the United Nations, but also with military equipment, especially helicopters. And finally, in 1962, Algeria won its independence. It didn't win the war militarily, but it won it politically. Militarily, it was obviously much weaker than French military forces. But politically, it became stronger and stronger as years went by. They gained more and more support from other countries. And finally, in 1961, the United States abstained, didn't vote against the independence. At that point, France realized that it had to pull up. And negotiations were undertaken, and Algeria became independent. 1962. The war lasted almost 8 years. Millions were killed. Hundreds of thousands were put into concentration camps in Algeria and so on. It was a very nasty war.
But a very impressive story.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's a story that's not well known in the United States. I don't know about in the countries that you're from, but it's not well known in the United States. And I find now that in American universities, it's sort of, it's a subject that's all of a sudden gained a certain interest. And there are seminars and study groups and on the Algerian War, which was one of the big colonial wars of the 20th century. Vietnam was another one. Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos had also been French colonies in Asia, and they fought a 10-year war to free themselves from French colonial authority. And they won. They won their independence in 1954, this very year that Algeria took up arms against France.
Well, I agree with you that
these are really David and Goliath kind of stories. I mean, the little man against the big man, and the little country against the big country, the little armies against the guerrilla fighters against the great military establishments with airplanes and helicopters and tanks and so on. Men with small arms stood in front of them, fought their way out.
What a story. So for our next question is, in your past, you had friends who committed some crimes. I mean, how did you manage those relationships given the moral controversy?
Say that again? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, sorry.
Wait a minute.
In your past, you had friends and colleagues who committed serious crimes. How did you manage those relationships given the moral controversy?
Oh, well, I think that relationships are based on mutual respect, on listening, on solidarity, on joint projects. It's to fight for a cause means joining other people, holding hands with other people, discussions. It's a battle one wages with oneself as well as with the enemy. It's all, yes. I don't know what else to say.
Well, thank you. Our next question is, what is it like for you to translate other people's words rather than voicing your own?
Say that again?
What was it like for you to translate other people's words rather than voicing your own?
Well, I mean, I think it's important that the word get out, and the people have something to say, don't always have the languages necessary to say it. And so our job as translators is to get the word out. At the time that I learned French and was capable of translating or interpreting in French, there were very few bilingual people around. Right after the Second World War, there were very few bilingual people around, and it was important that what they had to say, what their goals were, what their problems were, and so on, were known to the outside world. It was a pleasure to be part of telling the story and getting the word out. You felt you were doing something positive. Yeah, and it holds true even today. Yeah. Yeah.
What a nice answer. Our next question is, what kept you motivated to keep going during difficult times?
What kept me motivated? I felt that some of the things I was working for was much more important than I was. To be solid, to be working with other people, it was more important than I as an individual. And there were times when we were discouraged and saw a very dim future, but there were times when we gained support and felt that we'd contributed something, and that something else would happen. And discouragement is not positive. Certainly not. I mean, it's sometimes difficult, but if your relationships are good and you believe in your cause, you can you keep on plowing ahead, even though things are difficult, even though there are setbacks. There are always setbacks. You always have personal setbacks, group setbacks. I mean, they're part of life, and you have to keep going.
Beautiful answer. Thank you. Our next question is, how did being a woman influence any of your experiences we just talked about?
Well, that it's sometimes difficult, especially in a country like Algeria, which is male dominated. However, during the war, many women were extremely active. They became members of the Liberation Army. They trained as nurses. They did all kinds of secretarial work and so on. And women were starting, when Algeria became independent, women were starting to feel their oats. They were starting to take their lives in hand. And for myself as an individual, there were sometimes difficulties because I was a woman, but I think that the fact that I was a foreigner was positive. And I didn't really feel that I was excluded or discriminated against. I really never felt that, or so rarely that it was not important. I was considered as a comrade, and we all kept, we worked for a better society, we worked to pursue our goals. And I feel that as a woman, I was able to fulfill my responsibilities, even though it was in a society that was male dominated.
Nice answer. And did getting married ever affect your ideologies or how involved you were in different movements?
No, not really. On the contrary, I felt that it was a possibility of becoming to double my strength or triple my strength with someone who was as involved and as dedicated as I was to the cause of justice and peace. And I felt that I felt stronger. On the contrary, I felt that I wasn't alone, that we were two and we had the same sort of goals of justice and so on. I mean, it was very positive. I must say that since I didn't have children, I was not. I was freer to keep on being an activist and going to demonstrations and this and that.
How nice. Thank you very much for that beautiful answer. And well, our next question is, how do you navigate your different passions at the moment? Painting and like writing your memoir?
It's more difficult. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I can't walk as well as I used to walk and so on. But I get around the city of New York and I go to my studio and I paint and I meet my friends and we talk and we discuss and we lament and we wish and we think about our errors and we think about the causes that we fought for and what they've become, and we hope for the better. And I also try writing my short stories. I try to keep as busy as possible. and as supportive as possible of my friends and members of the family.
It's very nice that you find your ways to keep busy. By any chance, do you have like any creations that you have on hand next to you that you could show us?
Any what?
And any creations of yours that you have on hand that you could show us?
Oh, well, yes, I do have a few things. This is Mukhtar's book that will come out in September. These are the galleys. Can you see them?
Yes, we can see them.
Well, this is his book. It will come out in the United States by a publisher called Other Press. And you can look it up even online. They're already doing advanced publicity for the book. This is a galley, which means it's the sort of last review piece before it goes into print. And it's at the printers now and will be out in September. That, and I can show you the French edition. This was the Algerian edition of the same book, which I translated myself and will now come out as I Was a French Muslim. And then I can show you my own book. I don't have it, let's see, these are French copies. This is the Algerian copy, and this is the French copy of my own book. And if you wait a minute, I'll go show you a couple of pieces of art. 1 second. This is a portrait I did of Mokhtar, of my husband. Can you see it?
Yes, we can
Yes.
see it.
This is a portrait I did of him when we first came to New York.
It's
In
beautiful.
the 90s or the early part of the century. Yes. And I have a website under my own name, Elaine Mukhtafi, and I have a website with the different pieces of art. You know, you can see some of the art. It hasn't been updated. It's not what I'm doing right now, but it's stuff that I've done in the past. You can take a look at it.
Definitely take a look at it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I continue. Do you identify as a feminist?
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful. It's lovely to talk to you, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Yes. Our next
You're
question.
probably the most active and wonderful members of society and work for the great causes of justice, peace, and solidarity.
Yes. Our next question is do you identify as a feminist?
I'm not sure I understood what you said.
Do you identify as a feminist?
Do I? Oh, do I have any advice? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Not that much, and I'm not really good at giving advice. As you can see, the world that we tried to make better, we're considerably understaffed and outmoded, outvoted, out and out. We didn't stop war, we didn't stop injustice. But I just feel that you have to stick to it. You have to stick to your own ideas. You shouldn't be afraid of what you believe in. You should express it clearly. You should look for people who have similar clauses, hold their hands and be solidarity. Be in solidarity and work very hard for the things you believe in. Yes. We're small individuals in a great world, and if we join hands, we can do a lot of things.
Thank you. That is a good advice for the young people. The last question is, what we have talked much about your past and what you have achieved, but what are your plans for the future?
Well, plans for the future is hard to say when you're 92 years old, but nonetheless, I just think that my plans in the future to continue writing, go to demonstrations if I can, supporting the good causes of women, of justice, anti-racism, anti-corruption, and so on. When we have a chance, and sometimes we do have a chance of being useful and supporting causes that are within our power. Yes, I just think we should all continue fighting for the good causes, fighting injustice, fighting racism, fighting corruption. We should be voting for leaders who will adopt those causes, who will make them advance.
Well, thank you, Elaine, so much for joining us. We have completed our interview. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us, and we have learned so much from you.
Oh,
So
I'm
thank you.
excited to be here. Yes, and you look wonderful.
Yes, thank you for being with us. I am glad to meet you. You are so impressive woman, and I like too much this interview.
Good strength to your organization, and may you have many followers, and may you succeed.
Thank you, Elaine.